Welcome back, everybody, to Dan Has Fun with more kind of Bologna Baloney. We're Italy now. And we're going to go beat up the Pope, which seems like a totally appropriate thing for us to be doing now that we're Italy. Or not. But that's okay. We're just kind of beating them up to pass the time, while Britain works out if it wants to stop attacking the natives. It'd be nice if they would, because then we can attack Provence and France together, but they are otherwise engaged at the moment, so we're just going to have to wait patiently. These other nations, I guess we should deal with too, so we can start sitting on Savoy. Split that in half though, just so we don't attrition quite so badly. And then this stack, we'll start off with Scilly. Brittany's in on this, but their army is not big enough to be of any concern. They're not a one-province minor by any stretch, but they're still not very dangerous. Prospering times in Bergamo. Well, they have a pretty good trade good in cloth, so we'll go for Diplo. These guys can now clump together. Should probably have had them go the other way, on in all honesty. We'll have them go to Arezzo instead. There's 7,000 papal troops, and that is where we are going to be going with this 18,000 stack. We do have an extra general, so let's get you on and go over to Avignon. We're not going to forget this time that the Papal States has another province not attached to its mainland. Maybe. We'll try not to forget anyway. That would be nice. That siege ended incredibly quickly. Okay, so that's done. Let's go to Salzburg next. And we got a couple of galleys for that. Beautiful. Sounds like the dog alarms are going off upstairs. I wonder if the kids are back. I'm going to go check. Just a mystery, I guess. Dog's going off. I thought it might have been the kids. They're out just having fun, listening to some hip-hop this afternoon. It's not really my scene, I'll be honest, but to each their own. We have a pirate principality. What? Rugen the Pirate Principality. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen this form. At least not in Europe. You do see, like, I think it's Bermuda. And parts just south of Florida can become pirate areas pretty regularly. But I remember seeing that province becoming one. Weird. It's a cool flag. I like it. Anyway, let's go and get another one province minor tapped out. Montferrat has joined a coalition against us. Not a big deal. They're kind of irrelevantly small as it is. We took out a 1,000 man stack that I didn't even know existed, apparently. Ooh. Oh, apparently Britain's just going total war mode against the natives. That's quite a lot of troops. I do not want to walk into that because I will be attacking them with less troops on a mountain. So I think we'll decline that offer for now. And instead, we'll have this stack go after Saxony, maybe? Can I even get to Saxony? I don't even think I can. Oh no, I can. There we go. It's because I was halfway through a move. Game was like, nope, not letting you even have a look at how to do that, let alone do it. There's Brittany's stack. So once we siege out Savoy here, we'll just go over there and deal with that. That should be pretty trivial in the grand scheme of things. Do we want to go military tech 14? I really don't feel like it's necessary against these guys. I'm going to piece out Scilly, though. We're going to force religion and do that. We don't really gain hugely out of forcing them to turn Protestant. I just feel like morally that's what we should be doing in this scenario. So I'm going to make it happen one way or the other. Why did you stop? Do we not have a land border through our own ally? I guess we don't. There we go. Weird, that was a little bit of an oversight. So the next part of it, I was thinking about it. So once this war's over, we should probably get rid of some forts but upgrade some others. Because we don't have that mission anymore where you have to have what feels like 1,000 forts in this area of northern Italy. But having a few of them would still be useful. We just don't need this many. We have way too many of them. Do I have a way of getting through to here? Why would it let me do that manually but not otherwise? That's strange. Yeah, it's not as if we're at war with Provence. Very, very weird. Anyway, we'll let those guys go ahead and we'll use the 30k stack to do a bit of booping. There we go. We'll go and take Brittany out of contention. Augsburg is a level 5 fort. No wonder it's taking so long. We do have enough artillery for a +4 bonus, but it's a level 5 fort, so it does take time. And unfortunately, more than time, it takes manpower. I don't mind if it takes a while, it's just costing me an arm and leg in humans, which isn't so great. Saxony will probably peace out, but I'm going to get out of their territory first because I don't want to get black flagged. I didn't mean to click back. That was an oopsie doodle. There we go. Will you peace out now? Yeah, and they'll give us money. They won't change religion, but then again, they're too big, even if I wanted to. There we go. And rather than get stack wiped, potentially, Brittany did the very, very bold thing of just running away. I mean, I don't mind. That's fine. 20 prestige we didn't need. We are a very fine people, apparently. I wonder if we can bop that stack of papal troops. I do want to be careful because we're in mountains. If they attack me there, they'll get the penalty. I wonder if they'll come and attack. It'd be nice if they did, but I don't think they will. That's where Brittany's stack went, back to Savoy. This is fully healed. Do we have anywhere this would be beneficial to go to? Because getting it over here will cause attrition. So I'm going to go with no. And leave them just where they are. They don't have enough ships to come over here and bother my trade fleet anyway. So I'm just going to leave them alone. What we're going to do... We're going to do a bit of a swap eventually. So once these are all into place, we are going to attack them. This is going to hurt because it's going to be a -2 penalty. But I need to get them dislodged because they're all sitting in one place. Augsburg is going to do the swapper, and you're going to go back to Brittany's de-siege attempt. They're probably going to get Torino. No, they're not even going to get Torino. Okay. Fine. We're actually on a -3 penalty because we are on a river crossing on a mountain. But we have just so many cannons in that fight that we're just going to shred everything involved. Trent has left the coalition. Thanks, Trent. Took you long enough to work it out. Had a feeling that they weren't going to be going very far, so we're still going to get a penalty, but we might just be able to stack wipe them. The timing at the end of the month was rather inconvenient for us, but I still think we can stack wipe them. And if not, they might dance straight back to Salzburg. Apparently not. Okay, fine. Big stack, go sit on Salzburg. Small stack. You are just going to go back to Brittany. And then... Oh, wow, perfect. We actually are going to catch them. And then they're going to get the -2 penalty because it's a castle that I've already sieged. Oh dear, AI. What can we convert? Bruges, finally, your zeal has ended. Might as well peace out Augsburg. We're just going to force your religion to switch to Protestant as well, just because we can. The other reason why we're doing it, and it may sound petty, but it will cause Austria issues. So the more of that we can do, the kind of the funnier it will be. Mostly being done for trolling purposes. You're not moving anywhere, so I'm going to bop you. Yep, stack wipe. So Brittany's main stack is gone. I don't need to send this stack over there. That's fine. It can just go back so it doesn't take more attrition damage. Same with this stack. It can just stay there. Who else is even in this war? Salzburg, Savoy. Well, Savoy... I could probably eat Savoy, and yes, Austria would absolutely hate it. But they kind of have to deal. Because again, if they attacked us and tried to bring Spain in, that would bring Poland in against them, and that would break their alliance, which would be rather convenient for me in the long run. So if they did that, I wouldn't even be that upset. Remember, we have a ton of gold, and that is, in principle, in case something like that happens, we can just spend money to try and not necessarily buy our way out of it, but do enough to dissuade them from continuing to plow through our land. That would be 47 aggressive expansion. If I just did that, it'd be 33, really? Wow, that's a lot. I'm surprised how much that is. But that wouldn't tip Spain over? That's interesting as well. Not that it's going to matter. When I take the papal lands, that's going to tip them over as it is. But it turns out that nobody else would care if I took that province. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you for the free province I wasn't expecting to take. And it only has 4.2 unrest right now. I mean, it will have more than that when I move my troops out, but that's really not even that bad. Yeah, Austria is going to hate that, but they're going to have to deal with it. I'm going to put that there instead. So I imagine they're going to try and de-siege their capital. And we can just give that the old bop. I'm not sure if we're going to stack wipe them. We don't have a particularly fantastic army. We have good numbers in terms of just raw troops. But then again, Russia can have that too in this game, and their troops tend to stink. We have a new tier of our government we can look at the electorate. So we can have landholders, which just gives us more manpower recovery speed, which is good. Citizenry, which gives us 10% more morale of our army, which is very good. We don't have access to Board of Admirals, but if we did, from completing naval ideas, you sacrifice Republican tradition for naval leader fire. This is terrible. So we're going to go for citizenry, and we're going to get more morale. That will make our troops better. We still don't have any discipline bonus, which will hurt our capacity to, stat wipe. Just through bleeding them out. But we get morale, so we can stack wipe them through making them run away. So, not all bad. We'll take it. Are we not sieging anything we should be sieging at this point? So Brittany's being sieged, Salzburg is being sieged, and the Papal States is sieged. Are these the only three that are left? Yes. So once this is sieged out, we'll be able to, get Brittany out. I don't need to carpet siege them. I don't really want anything off them, to tell you the truth. Maybe breaking their alliance with France. That would be about it. But then, if I do that, will France just eat them? But then again, if that happens, do I care? Not really. So that's what we're going to do. They only have military access with Austria, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll break their alliance with France. Maybe Britain will want to go in and eat that. Or even Picardy. That would be fun. Picardy being allied to Austria is also interesting. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. Let's get our troops back. All 19,000 of them. They're the ones that are going to sit on Torino. Spain has finally left the coalition against us, but at a really lousy time. Because what will happen is I'll take the Papal States provinces and they will immediately rejoin the coalition. Like, it's just going to happen. They're at 47 aggressive expansion. That is what is going to happen. Oh, that's very unfortunate. Because, yeah, Britain is still at war with the North American natives, so they're not going to join in. And yeah, everybody's love of Provence is stopping that from happening. I don't know why they love Provence so much. Love to know why, but they absolutely love them. What's our cap on this? 999? We're going to have to use this... Actually, honestly, at this point, I'm just going to get level 14 in all the techs. So we have scientific experimentation, which gives us another option for an idea group, which is great. Diplo 14 to get the Galleass, which is an improvement on the galley, unsurprisingly. So that's pretty good. It's going to be particularly useful for us, given where we're located in the world. And military tech 14, the Tenail. Probably didn't pronounce that correctly either. Yeah, we get new cavalry. We can build a better type of castle called a bastion. Your combat width can be wider, which is good for your artillery in particular, and if you run a lot of cavalry, but I tend to not because they're really expensive for the amount of damage they do. And your infantry just get more firepower. We now have the Latin Caracol cavalry. Thank you. Get a new idea slot. What do we want? So, doesn't make sense for us to go expansion or exploration. There's just too much going on in Central and Southern Europe for us to want or need to play that game. So we're good there. We can't take a military idea because 2 of the 3 that we've chosen so far are military, and it won't let you do that for balance purposes. So realistically, if we want to go the Diplo route, we have diplomatic ideas. Doesn't really sound like something we're going to be doing here. Trade ideas sounds a little bit more tempting, because that's how we make our big cash. Or we can go full-on maritime ideas, which is pretty rare for me to do. But that would mean we could start competing with Spain on a naval level, which has some interesting side effects. It also makes your fleets quicker if you complete maritime ideas, which is pretty helpful, actually. That's a bit of a sleeper pick. In terms of what we already have, though, it combines with quantity to give us cheaper and better galleys, which is okay, but not amazing. Really, the best part of that is that's a diplomatic combination, which is very interesting. If we go with offensive in a combination, you get more naval leader maneuver and ship durability, which is pretty mediocre. So that's not really doing it. Trade-wise, it combines with quantity to get 20% more goods produced, which is pretty good. Or you can go with offensive to get more movement speed and more trade efficiency. I like the Public Road Act, but it is a military idea, and we already have one. Or military policy, I guess I should say. So that's something to bear in mind. The other interesting part is we haven't gone religious or humanist at all, which is pretty odd for me. And the game kind of phrases it in a way that you almost always would want to do this, but I just haven't. I haven't found that I've had such a difficult time at converting, although religious and offensive does give you 3% against heretics, which is incredibly helpful when you play in Europe. But I've really not found that to be much of a challenge. Espionage is terrible, usually, but there's one idea in there. 20% less aggressive expansion impact, which is fantastic. The problem beyond that, though, is that almost every other idea here sucks. Efficient spies is okay, you get 10% better sieging. But everything else is kind of terrible. And it doesn't really combine particularly well with anything either. So no, we're not doing that. So what are we going to do? We're talking about a lot of things we're not going to do. But we need to start talking about things that we do actually want to do. And it may seem a bit of a weird choice, given how we're playing. I am quite tempted to go economic, not really because of the policies in and of themselves. They are exactly what you think they would be. They're not that powerful. But the policies that you can get from this are very, very good, given what we've picked. So you can go agricultural cultivation. It gets you cheaper development and more land force limit modifier, which is very helpful. And it's an admin policy, which is very good for us. So that's an option. Or you could just go horse artillery and give yourself 10% better combat artillery. Not a very imaginative choice, but still quite a good one. Especially as the game goes on, you're going to be relying more and more and more on artillery as the combat width gets wider. So it can be useful. It's a toss-up between economic and maritime. Maritime, I think, has better ideas within the main group, but I don't think it has as good a combination for policies. And then economics the other way around. And even trade is tempting. Trade probably has the best of the three when it comes to the ideas. Yeah, you know what? I've talked myself into it. We're going to go trade. I've talked myself into it. We can get the first one immediately, which just gives us more trade power. We're making massive money from trade. Like, that's where the majority of our income comes from. So it makes sense to do, and you tend to find that as the game goes on, it tends to go from taxation to production to trade. I think that's the right pick. I think there are a few good picks in there. I think that's ultimately the best one that we could have gone for. We have finally sieged out Salzburg, a level 3 fort in a mountain. What do we even want from them? We could vassalize them if we really wanted to upset everybody, but we don't. We're just going to force them to change their religion. I can't do 101% war demands. Thank you. There we go. So they are now Protestant as well. We are at 100% war score. So now, Papal States, it's time to get you out of contention. 41 aggressive expansion. Oh, it just, by the skin of its teeth, it tips France into the coalition. That's incredibly annoying. I'm not going to take Avignon. Because, like the game says, I can't even make it into a core. It doesn't have a sea border with us. So, we're going to do the really, really lame thing of just sitting in place. I don't like to do this because, well, there's two issues. One, devastation. Well, actually, now that they've unconditionally surrendered, it's not that bad. But until they get to the unconditional surrender bit, their devastation absolutely rockets up. It actually goes down with an unconditional surrender. That's pretty awesome. But the other bit, too, is if you wait too long... I'm going to show it here. Right now, we have no war exhaustion because this was an absolute piece of cake. What will happen is your population will be like, you know, the war's over, dude. Sort it out, settle it down. And your war exhaustion will start to skyrocket. So we don't want to sit for too long. We're going to sit for a bit, though. Okay. We only had to sit that long. Do you see? Oh, depletion of the European beaver. That's sad. There's the symbol. So the call for peace, that will start to ratchet up incredibly quickly. But we don't have to wait any longer, because France will not be involved. We just must have got it to tick down far enough where they are no longer at 50. Doesn't matter if they're at 49.999. If they don't touch 50, they can't join the coalition. Core everything. This stack of troops is going to go there. This stack of troops is going to go here. There you go. So the Papal States, they're not fully out of, they're not like dead, but now the Pope is confined to Avignon, so he's out of the way. Out of the way of us, anyway. And really, to us, that's all that matters. Let's get a couple of these on drill. We'll just let the month tick over. We have a lot of idle diplomats. Wowzers. We do have another Diplo space too. Does anybody of any interest wanting to ally us? Morocco will, which is funny. We're not allying Morocco. The nation that we freed would ally us. That's not that interesting either. Picardy would, but I don't really want to do that because I suspect that Britain is going to want to eat them at some point. So I would prefer to, yeah, I would prefer to not get involved in that. Is there anybody else, though, of any interest, or anybody that's even close that won't quite do it? Mamluks at -40, but I don't think that's a particularly great choice either. So really there's no sexy alliance option on the table. Definitely not Provence, that is for sure. That is an absolute categoric no. In a way, this weird 3 leagues would be an interesting choice to ally, because then Austria would have a much harder time potentially eating it. And I wonder if eventually I could convince them to be vassaled. I don't know. I'm feeling charitable, 3 leagues. We're just going to be nice. We don't always bully the bad guy, you know, the small guys. Just most of the time, he says, as he's just ruining the merchants for Spain. Anyway, we'll tidy this up for now. So the Pope is down to being a 1-province minor. He's no longer even inside Italian land, which makes life a lot easier for us. We are slowly but surely heading towards inevitable conflict with Spain. I know I've been saying that for a few episodes. I'm not sure why the AI is being so polite about it. I'm not complaining, but it is very odd. We'll see where this takes us. We have a lot of options. This is the nice thing about Forming Italy. You get claims for days, and they're permanent claims too. So yeah, please stick around, and if you want to subscribe to make sure you don't miss the next video, please do so. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye now. Thank you for watching the video, and if you'd like to see more, feel free to stick around.